This is Carl with the three things I'm watching for Wednesday, August the 27th. Gonna go to South America first. Brazil, corn planting starting to get underway. That first corn crop, very little in, 2 to 3%. Trade looking for normally we're about 3 to 4%, so a little bit behind schedule in Brazil. Safrinha harvest wrapping up in the country. They're almost done with that. Soybean planting will start here in a few weeks. That's what trade is really focused on. But on the safrinha, the harvest that's taking place, it's interesting to see Brazil not selling corn, not really selling soybeans either. They're not seeing much demand in the global market. What corn demand there is right now is coming to the United States. The U.S. much more affordable on corn than Brazil or anybody else in the world. So, but the planting season will start to put a little bit more weather attention on South America. We haven't heard much about their weather here lately, but the start of it, you'll start to pick up on those forecasts. So start to see a shift in global weather attention from the U.S. to South America before too long here. Number two, we're going to go to China. China's soybean inventory, they are starting to rotate it. They're going to have auctions of farm stored soybeans, or excuse me, government stored soybeans this Friday. Usually those first set of soybeans that they bring out of stores to auction off are junk. They're usually old, can be some quality issues. Usually not big demand for the first soybeans that come out of auctions in Brazil, or excuse me, China. Going to start to rotate their inventory though. That is good news for the United States. Typically, we see our soybeans bought from China to go into reserves. Now that China is rotating them, we may finally start to see some export demand pick up. That's what trade needs. We really need China just to buy something for new crop to give this market a little bit more hope and take some more of that bearish sentiment out of the trade. The third thing I'm watching here is the U.S. red meat supply. And I do tend to gravitate towards livestock quite a bit. And the red meat supply, I think we're starting to see a little bit of a change in the way the market views our beef and pork supplies. Our pork supply currently at 10-year low. Our beef inventory multi-year low, multi-decade low. We're about 20-year low on our beef supply, and our cattle on feed are the lowest they've been in 8 years. The thing is, we're starting to look at beef and pork that maybe we don't need huge reserves. Suppliers going to more of a hand to mouth, packers going hand to mouth, retailers cutting back on what they're going to hold in cases. Especially as we move into the winter months, we'll see a switch in what the retailers are holding and selling. Bottom line is, trade is not as concerned with the red meat supply as we were a year ago. Uh, that said, we continue to see this buying in the complex and especially in cattle. Just cattle don't seem to have a top. We just keep going and going. Sooner or later, that's going to turn, obviously. The only advice I can give, stay hedged up. This cattle market, yeah, we have a tight cattle inventory and our red meat supply is tight, but we're getting way out of line on our cattle values here. And when it corrects, it's going to drop hard. We more than likely know that's going to happen. Don't know when, obviously. But the thing is, our cattle are overbought and they're overvalued and they're overpriced in the global market. Going to be interesting to see if we can maintain any sort of export program with values this high. I got a feeling we're going to start losing more of that business as we move forward. Those are the three things I'm watching today.